There's one you probably missed, this one. Nancy Pelosi is going absolutely crazy about the big tax cuts given to the American people by the Republicans. Got not one Democrat vote. Here's a choice. They want to end them and raise your taxes substantially. Republicans are working on making them permanent and more cuts. Now, the president has lauded the Republicans' tax cut that he signed into law just before Christmas as one of the largest tax cuts in history and the most sweeping tax reform in a generation. That was in an op-ed published in USA Today on Tax Day. What the president did not mention, neither in his op-ed nor his tweet, is the new government report released just days earlier that projects historic deficits, in part because of the GOP's tax cut. Now, to be fair, a lot of people overlook this report. It's been a busy couple of weeks. But we think you need to know about it because the news is not good, and the government says it is only going to get worse. Here it is. It's from the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. It's their annual assessment of the economic outlook for the next decade, so looking out to 2028. And here's the headline. The CBO projects that starting in 2020, the U.S. government will run $1 trillion deficit again. That means the U.S. will spend $1 trillion more in a single year than it takes in. That's 2020, just 2 years away. And it's 2 years sooner than the CBO projected just a few months ago. Now, the government says you can partly thank the big spending bill that both parties passed last month for that. Now, you might have noticed that I said the U.S. will run $1 trillion deficits again. Well, that's because during the financial crisis, the annual deficit surpassed $1 trillion 4 times. At its peak, it hit $1.4 trillion in the last year of Bush, first year of Obama, the highest ever.
We have to confront the fact that our government spends more than it takes in. That is not sustainable.
We face a crushing burden of debt. The debt will soon eclipse our entire economy and grow to catastrophic levels in the years ahead.
Now, the differences between then and now are huge. Then the economy was falling off a cliff. Unemployment was between 7 and 10%. Interest rates were at historic lows. But now the economy is strong. Unemployment is 4.1% and interest rates are climbing. And in this economy, the U.S. will build on, as Speaker Ryan calls it, the crushing burden of debt. But it's hard to grasp, really, $1 trillion, right? I mean, we could all name a few billionaires we've seen on TV, but there's never been a trillionaire. So how can we really appreciate $1 trillion? Let's try this. That was $100. Took what, 10 seconds? Consider this. If I were to stand here and toss $100 every 10 seconds, nonstop, until I reached $1 trillion, I'd be here for every second of every day for more than 3,000 years. That's just $1 trillion. I say just one because the CBO projects trillion-dollar deficits in 2020. And 21, and 22, and 23, and 24, and 25, and 26, 27, and then by 2028, the CBO projects the U.S. will spend $1.5 trillion more than it will take in, a new record in good times. Here's the CBO director, Keith Hall.
Nobody knows what's too much debt, what will cause a fiscal crisis. You know, it really depends upon the country, depends upon the situation.
Now, President Trump says Republicans now want to make the individual tax cuts permanent. They were scheduled to expire at the end of 2025. Now, Speaker Ryan says the House will vote on that this summer. Now, it's important to say that ballooning deficits are not exclusive to a single party or president. But remember, the next time Republicans brag about the tax cut or Democrats begrudgingly justify huge spending increases, remember,